Love the word hobo.
I do too.
I miss the lovable hobo. You know, I got the hobo with like a stick and and like a knapsack, you know, made out of a cloth.
This is a choice, this lifestyle. I'm a hobo with a heart of gold, and I travel around the country much like the Incredible Hulk, saving children from burning cars.
Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. There's nothing wrong with being a hobo. It's, you know, it's like, and then somebody came along and went, "You're a vagrant." That's horrible. In fact, do you know that? So this is a little entertainment news. HBO is considering dropping HBO from HBO Max because of the negative connotations of hobo. Like, apparently there's some in the work group that were like, I don't know if people find that acceptable anymore. And I'm like, HBO? Like,
I find it very acceptable. I've enjoyed everything they've put out.
Yeah. Please don't change the name.
Yeah.
HBO, please do not change the name. Even if we do call it hobo, it doesn't matter. No one cares.
I've never called it
Hobos
hobo.
are lovable.
Have you ever called it hobo?
Probably in jest, but no. It's always HBO. But
probably
I'm also
in like 7th grade as a joke. Yeah. I'm an adult now, and I can watch Game of Thrones without my daddy holding my hand.
I'm like, of all the objectionable things, like, okay, let's not take out the incest. No, God, no. Let's not take out out of House of Dragons or whatever. Let's not take out, the incredible crime sprees and drug use and kids doing drugs on Euphoria and all that. But the name might piss somebody off because it's talking about hobos.
Yeah, but those stories are real life, man. Dragons are real.
That's right. Look, finally, our ancient brothers and sisters from northern UK are getting their story told. Finally, won't someone think
of the Gaelic? Of the dragon children.
I know. For too long, these stories have been hidden in the dark, and finally, they're getting seen.
For those of us that have been actively dating our sister uncles for the last 25 years, Game of Thrones was a revelation to us. Although we're not going to knife anybody to death.
Oh my God!
But yes, the name HBO is the problem. There's not a problem with any of it. It's all fine. You're just looking for reasons to fucking do something. Go to sleep. What's that Toby Ziegler line? Go to bed. There you go.
It's ridiculous. I think it's funny, but
it's ridiculous.
And I feel bad for all of them because, like, all the streamers are like, we don't know. I mean, so I had a great conversation last week with someone who's really deep into the streaming world, and I cannot say it. I can't even hint where they are, but what I can say is this: is we had an honest conversation where, and it was kind of running back, the big Spotify thing came out where Spotify did this loud and clear thing and about how many subscribers they have and everyone wants them to raise their price. And Disney and Netflix raised their price and instantly lost subscribers. Yeah. And a lot of people have thought that Spotify has internal data which basically proves if they raise their price, they will lose millions of premium subscribers. Yeah. That sounds right on the face of it, but I think they have internal research that shows them it would be a slaughter. Yeah. Like really, really, really bad. So anyway, talking to this streamer person, I was like, fuck is going on with all this? Because, like, it seems like we're moving back to the cable model. Yeah. Like, everybody's splintered, but when you talk to especially younger people, like a Gen Z person, you're like, it'd be really nice, you guys, as if I could have all of it in one place and like kind of look through everything.
And all the folks at Xfinity are banging their heads against their desk.
That's what we've done for hundreds of years.
Comcast.
It's Comcastic. But so he was telling me, I gave it away as a guy.
But he was telling me
that none of them know where it's going.
Of course not.
Because it's one of the cool things about the cable packages was that you were stuck in a like 6-month, 3-year plan, whatever.
Yeah.
And almost all the streamers are on, basically month to month. The churn can happen immediately. You can just go, oh, you canceled my favorite show. I'm out.
Yeah.
And you can come back in 2 months when Mandalorian comes back on, whatever. And so they like have no good outlook to give their investors and stuff. They're like, we think it's going to be good,
Yeah.
But where this really hits Spotify is like if Spotify raises the price too much, you can leave Spotify and go to one of the 200 other ones or, the top ones, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, whatever. And you don't miss a beat because it's all the same music.
Exactly.
It's different with Disney or Netflix. Like they can come out
They've
with
got
one
exclusive
show
programming,
they bring you back. That you're like, well, I mean, I can't get Mandalorian anywhere else.
Yeah.
But you can get Harry Styles everywhere. You can get whatever you're listening to.
And I have.
Yeah. And now, hey, I'll take Harry Styles for $300.
Well, I'll take him for a little bit more.
Yeah. So they don't know. They don't like. They're not sure what the future of is it. Like what the future is.
Yeah.
They just think, well, we just have to do this.
You think it'd be it'd be like if we raise prices, we will lose. There's a certain amount of attrition that happens with that, but the amount we will end up making in the long run, it makes sense. But if it's that bad and the marketplace is that fragmented, it makes sense that everybody's having a little bit of a panic attack about it.
Well, and it's even worse than that with Spotify because they kind of screwed themselves with having the freemium plan. So you're a premium subscriber and you pay a certain amount of money. And so say the price goes up and there's a bunch of people that are like, well, no, I don't really want to pay for that anymore. Yeah. But I like Spotify. So I'll just drop to the free plan. And then you start getting just bombarded with ads in between your favorite songs, in between podcasts.
Yeah.
And then, like, now you don't like the brand.
Yeah.
Like, then you're like, well, I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
Because there's none of that on Apple.
Yeah. And I can bundle with Apple and get my storage and my Apple TV, and I can get, the arcade and all that stuff. We do that anyway. We've got that, and, Spotify kind of stands on its own, and it's its own thing. Now, we use Spotify differently than most listeners to it. I mean, if I've got an artist I'm working with, I'm using my Spotify premium account to really do a deep dive on what they're doing.
Yeah,
and I can see that data if I choose to, and at least have an idea of what they're doing. For example, if they're monthly listeners and their streams, the number of streams for a particular song do not add up to each other,
halvesies.
I know there's some fuckery afoot, And so there's certain things that we get from the premium model that allow us to do our jobs better. But I guess there's a piece of me that's like, you and I pay for things to not have ads. You pay for YouTube to not have ads. I don't do that because I'm not on YouTube enough, although I should be. That's a sign that I'm slacking.
Honestly, it's my favorite subscription.
Really?
It is.
Explain why.
And as a media company, we subscribe to, like, I literally subscribe to everything. Did you see that Sam Morril joke? Like, hangovers are different when you get older. Like, I think I got drunk last night and signed up for Paramount Plus.
I did, because I think Trevor told me that joke too, because I was watching. I was in SpongeBob the Musical last week. I played guitar,
right?
And he told me to watch it. He told me to watch it on Paramount Plus, and then he told me that joke. But I've got Paramount Plus because I'm a massive Star Trek nerd. So
Picard.
I got because it's fucking great. But again, that one show that I can't get anywhere else. Yes, I'll give you your $10 fucking a month.
Yeah, let me tell you. So I actually signed up for it around COVID lockdown time.
Yeah, because
we wanted to watch all the Star Trek movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so we thought, okay, well, I mean, everybody's paying for shit.
Skip
We're
the
at home.
motion picture.
Yeah. So we try to go and watch all of them, and nope. Wrath of Khan isn't on there, or like one or two of them weren't. And I was like, what the fuck? So we go back to Comcast, and so we ended up having to pay for one of them.
Yeah.
Is that the one it was? Was it the whale one?
That's Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. You are fucking welcome, America.
Thank you. Yeah, you're very good at this.
I grew up on that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know all of them. That one is, we did the same thing. It was last year after I had my motorcycle accident. I was laid up. My boy and I watched all the Star Trek movies, and the only place you can find all of them. And once I have it and they're all right there, it's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But so, I pay for everything. So literally everything. So Paramount Plus, Peacock, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, YouTube. I mean, everything. All of the things on the bottom of your TV. I have all of those square tiles, except for like Vudu or Tubi or Freevee. I don't pay for any of those.
Yeah.
But like all the real ones, HBO Max.
Oh,
Showtime.
shots fired.
No, I
Tubi
mean
is not a real one.
I'm not taking it back. Fuck Tubi. Two Shots Music Podcast is brought to you by Tubi. Find your favorite shows commercial free.
Why is YouTube your favorite subscription service?
It's I think YouTube is. I have a lot of reasons for it. I like doing a lot of research. I like watching videos. I listen to music. I don't listen to audio only, although it is a higher quality when you go. They have like two things. It used to be called YouTube Music Red. They've done a horrible job at branding it. But so a lot of times if you search for like a song, if you're like, oh, I want to hear Royal Blood Boilermaker, right? And you search for it, it could be, Jenna Thompson 1980 who posted it. It could be the Topic channel. It could be Royal Blood's channel. It could be Warner Brothers channel. It could be a bunch of places. And so that's intriguing to me to know how royalties work on YouTube.
Yeah.
But also, I never see an ad on anything I'm searching on YouTube. And that, as someone who's used YouTube like since it began, that is just glorious to me that I never see a Geico ad. I never have to click skip. I never have to do that. But when it really comes up to me is when I want to do a random playlist. Yeah. Not something I built, not somebody else's on Spotify or Apple. It's kind of cool where you pick a song, and I really like the recommendation algorithm. Like, so you pick a song and then you pick the mix of that song. Okay. Like you can start off with Bill Withers' Lovely Day. We did this the other night playing cards. Just hit Bill Withers' Lovely Every Day and mix. And it just gave me all beautiful 70s soul and but it moved away from it a little bit. It hit Chuck Mangione, Feels So Good.
Excellent.
It hit Boz Scaggs. It hit it's really good. Like it's a really good recommendation algorithm. But I like watching, like Terry Jones stuff and Ricky Gervais's podcast stuff, and that's all on there. I actually watch podcasts. Yeah. On YouTube. So Two Bears One Cave or all of that kind of stuff. I watch them, and I don't watch them. I have them on. Yeah. Listening. Yeah. But I just don't want to fuck with I think part of my problem is that I don't like my entertainment going through my phone. Because I'm on my phone so much for other things. Yeah. So I'm very much a desktop, laptop person when I'm doing 100 things. Like right now, we're recording a podcast. We have video going. I've got Logic going. I've got 20 things open, and I'm trying to silence my phone. Yeah. 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 So that's just the reason why it works for me that way. I think it's interesting that you brought up the recommendation algorithm for YouTube. Yeah. I'm an artist. I know that YouTube is important, being on the back end of things, and this making videos and metadata and embedding the right things and getting the right tags on things and all that kind of stuff. How important it is. How is that attached to that recommendation algorithm? How would somebody accidentally find an artist's song from that if they've got their shit together? Well, it basically comes down to what your user profile does. And so if YouTube knows that you listen to some older music and some newer music, it makes sure to serve you a newer song as well as older music. Whereas Spotify will really, like, if you're trying to do a recommendation algorithm, it only play you artists that sounds like or next to or other people that listen to that. But it does it in a pool, right? So if you're listening to Harry Styles and 60% of, sorry, Harry, this is a podcast about you, but like, let's say 60% of the people that listen to Harry Styles also listen to Adele, Spotify will absolutely take that pool and assume that you're going to be an Adele fan too, and push that to you. YouTube will take it off of what you've listened to more so than the pool of your friends or the people around your age. So like it will know that like, yeah, I like Harry Styles, but it may serve me Foo Fighters next.
Interesting.
Yeah, or it may serve me like another like solo artist like that's newer. It's really interesting the way it works. But I gotta say, actually, to answer the question a little bit better, one of the other reasons why I love YouTube is it is the easiest way to share music. It just is, like, because you know whether or not someone has a premium subscription or an ad thing. If you share a music song from YouTube, whether it's an album cover video, meaning no video, just a picture, or whether it's a full-blown video, you can share that link with anyone in the world and they can play it right now. There's no hoops to jump through. It doesn't try to get you to sign up for anything. It's a clean entry to your music. And that is like, you'll see me online sharing. Normally when I share music, I share it from YouTube. And that's why, because you may be on Apple, you may be on Tidal, you may be on Spotify. And if I share from any of those sites, it's going to try to get you to sign up. And it's not about the music anymore. It's not about what I'm sharing. I'm doing the work of those streamers. YouTube is so gargantuan that they're like, if you like it, you'll come. You know where we're at. And as you know, YouTube is the world's largest music streamer and has been for a long time. And they're quiet about it. Let Spotify duke it out with Apple. While YouTube just is sitting there raking in revenue.
They're going to make their money off of you as a subscriber or as an ad feature.
And they don't care.
They don't care.
And they don't care because their ecosystem for ads is much better. Like, obviously, because it's Google. Or Alphabet or whatever the fuck you want to call it now. But like, they don't care. And they don't care how you come in. They don't care if you're premium or not. They don't push it that much. And so, but it's just the easiest way to share music. And a lot of times when you embed like a music video that has the song in it, sometimes you can play it right within the post. And that's something you can never do with Spotify anymore. When they started, you could. Like, it'd play like a 30-second clip or something. But, no one ever complains that like they can't get the song off of YouTube. So that's why I do it. And I tell all my artists like to do it that way. I think another thing for independent artists to understand about YouTube is that, Spotify is its own thing. And like your monthly listeners and how many streams you have and your profile views, all of that. But what gets you into playlists on Spotify or playing well with Spotify is sort of the chart metric, your score, your popularity score. And that goes outside of Spotify. There is the Spotify numbers baked in, but outside of it, it pulls in your kind of your socials. It pulls in sort of where your music is elsewhere. And one of the biggest footprints of that is YouTube. So you can blow up on YouTube and help yourself on Spotify. And kind of vice versa. And like chart metrics is kind of the way to find that out, what your popularity score and your social score is. And that's probably a whole different podcast, but it's an important part of it. And I think we've talked about some artists this year who have put shit on YouTube. Everyone thinks it's kind of like YouTube is kind of like TikTok. People think it's something, but the people who are actually on it know that it's different than that. So like everyone's like, well, I'm not going to do a full video because no one cares about videos anymore. I'm like, that's fine. Put a song on there. Have an artist profile. It's all free. It's all free.
Why not?
For you to do. You could create a whole channel with every piece of your music with just the album title. Take your topic songs, put them on your artist channel, have the single on top. You could do all that for free in a day. And it doesn't matter whether you ever have one video or not, you're going to have plays. We see it all the time where someone has an album cover with 200,000 views.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and like that is amazing to me.
Yeah.
That a lot of people listen to YouTube and don't watch it.
Yes.
And that just tells you that's an interface thing, right? That's just something where people feel more comfortable keeping it open in a tab. You know, it's just like Spotify. If you want to listen to a Spotify song, if you're on a Mac, the first thing that happened goes, would you like to open the app? I'm like, I just opened it. No. Do you want to use the web player or the app? And I'm like, I want to just listen to the goddamn song. you know?
Yeah.
And
no,
so,
I do not.
Yeah.
Thank you. I paid for it so that I don't have to answer these stupid questions. Off with his head.
But Spotify wants you in the app because
they can track your data better.
Better data. Yeah, totally. But yeah, that's why I like YouTube. And plus, you know, you want to fix your microwave? Spotify can't tell you how to do that.
Nope. I was talking to somebody, I think we've been talking about this, about learning. How I learned to fix everything on tour was by screwing it up. Now, if a band is on tour and they blow a fuse on their Marshall, they can get on YouTube. They can go the specific model, maybe the year it was made, and go, what type of fuse is that? And there's a dude on there who looks probably like me, with a screwdriver. Well, when that goes bad, you do this, and they've got information on how to fix and repair just about anything.
Totally.
Right?
Welcome to Your Amp is Fucked. I'm Tom Daly, and I'm like, subscribe.
But it's even if you want to know the best practices for success on a YouTube marketing campaign, you can watch that video on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like talk about the snake eating its tail. You know, this is like a fractal piece of art here. It goes deep. But I love that's one of the things. If you don't have any innate ability to utilize a search engine, YouTube will not always give you what you want.
No, that's true. That is very true.
And so, you know, like that's the first step is learn how to use search terms, because otherwise you'll get a bunch of stuff you don't want.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna just like, we're gonna throw this out there where this is gonna just be the question of the day. Basically, is why should I care about YouTube? Because I want to add a few things to this. I mean, we've stumbled on it. Fuck the rundown. This is actually
isn't that always with us? It's like
it really is.
We had a rundown like 6 minutes before the podcast starts, and we're like,
"Sorry, Kelsey, our producer is really pissed off at us."
It's a good thing that she doesn't harbor any residual resentment.
What's that, Kelsey? Fuck you? Okay, thank you. But so here is another. I'm going to give you some deep dive shit about YouTube. And this is another reason why you need to set up your profile, do the right cover, get your 3 hashtags. Just go and rip off other artists. Go to a Taylor Swift song and look how they post their stuff. The lyrics are in there. The credits are in there. At the very bottom of it, there are 3 hashtags. Usually has the name of the single. Make sure that how you name your song on YouTube matters. And by the way, we will do a spec sheet about this, a free worksheet for you that will be on the page on 2ShotsMusicPod. And so I'll give this all to you, but like if you want to know how to do it, there is a reason why you name your song, you know, Band X and Donkey Song. You know, like there's a way to do it that really matters in SEO. And here is another reason why that is super important for music supervision. I'm part of a little group of a little cadre of music supervisors. Every Friday, and people that know me know this because I do it to my little private groups. I do a music run, and we are looking for brand new songs that just dropped on Friday, which normally they are scheduled for midnight Eastern on Thursday night. There is a group of music supervisors that look for songs that are under 200 views. I'm just going to give you the whole game here. Under 200 views that are tagged correctly, that are not signed. It's a great way to find the latest song that was released and get it before it gets hot. Like, I know music supervisors that reach out to those bands or their management that day. Love this song. Can you send me a WAV file? Can you send me separates? They go through the whole thing. Like, I'm interested in this song for a show, a movie, a game, whatever. And it's a great way to sort through everything that's coming out, because we know that if you did this part right, you released on a Friday. So that means you already put it out in distribution correctly.
Yes.
We know if it hits Spotify too that same day, that you're probably with the distributor, and so you kind of have metadata in there and ISRC codes, and we know that just by seeing how you did it. Yep. If you did the 3 hashtags right, and when I'm searching it on New Music Friday, I find it, that means you know what the hell you're doing on YouTube. So you have done enough research to where I feel more comfortable with you to reach out that your music is cleared, that it's a one-stop, that if we go down this road, if I temp or put that music in queue for a project, that I know you'll follow up with the contract, that you know what the hell you're talking about, what a music sync is, that you know how the money works, that there's money on the master side, money on the sync side, which is the publishing side. I kind of know what you're doing if you do YouTube right.
Yeah.
And either you or your management or, your friend, the drummer, whomever. And so, but there are people getting syncs off of YouTube simply because they're releasing songs correctly.
Yep.
And we will search through things on Friday because major label artists put them out on Friday as well. And so you kind of want to see how well that surfaces in your search.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man, they did this exactly right. And again, then when I see that song in that search and I go to the song, go to the track, I go to your artist profile, right? I go to your channel. Then I can see, is your about correct? Do you have your links correct? Is there cover art that's correct? Do you have the credits in the description of that song?
Yeah.
I can also see if you're an artiste. Because if you put out like a really cool, groovy video, I see what the band is like. And by the way, for those of you who don't care about sync, which this is probably not the podcast for you, but but if you don't care about sync, bookers do this too. So bookers will go and see what songs are new, and because you can see the city that they're from, and be like, oh, these people are blowing up, because right under the description you will have where they're playing live coming up. And that is a big deal to bookers to see, oh, they're on tour or they're about to tour. And you can kind of see what the band looks like and whether, the artist looks like. Yeah. So there are 1,000 reasons why you should be working YouTube. And the biggest among them is it's free. Yeah. It's completely free.
Yeah. And there's a massive amount of back-end tools on that platform. You got a Gmail account. Get in there and start whittling.
And by the way, this is a little inside, but because I pay for premium on YouTube, whenever I'm setting up someone's YouTube channel, and I do that for a lot of artists or people, I'm in there, and you got to set it up through the Gmail. That's the easiest way to do it. You log into a Gmail, bandname@gmail.com, and you immediately have YouTube. You just go to YouTube, claim the channel. That's the Gmail is your login. If you do that, I'll be in the back end trying to set up their channel branding and stuff and uploading pictures and stuff. And I'll hear a fucking ad going off. And I'm like, what the hell? There's an ad going off. I pay for premium. And it's because I'm signed out of my own account.
It's not your account. Yeah, exactly. What the hell?
I'm like, these people don't pay for premium. Low rent motherfuckers.
Get off my lawn. Ad bearing.
You could save 20% with Geico in 5 minutes. Oh, my God. Yeah.
I don't have a car.
And I guess, so let's just go down it a little bit. Can you make money on YouTube? Yes, you can. You got to play with Content ID. It's really hard for most people to understand how Content ID works, and I changed my point of view about this last year, where I used to tell people how to actually do it and get Audium and your back end song tune finder, tune stat, is another place. TuneSat is another place where it listens to where your songs are being played.
Yeah.
Now I just tell people, please just go to DistroKid. Just go to DistroKid.
Yep.
Click the button for Content ID. Let them collect for it. You will see it 3 months later on your PRO, your ASCAP, your BMIs.
Yeah.
But they partner with a bunch of different companies that do it.
Yeah.
If you're not used to it, that is the easiest way to do it. By the way, you can use St. James for a discount for DistroKid if you want to sign up, I guess.
Hell yeah. STJAMES.
I know. I should get one for the podcast. I know I've had one for a while, but...
Yeah, but it matters. That's your name. We can use it.
Yeah. How do you use YouTube? Do you use YouTube for... Like, because you have a kid, you got a youngin'.
Yeah.
So do you guys go on YouTube for like learning and stuff too?
Not so much. Well, he's 14 now. Funnily enough, I had my college roommate over to the new house on Sunday, and we were signed into in the living room, signed into my son's YouTube account, and the search terms were in there. We had some Tom Cardy, Have You Checked Your Butthole? We had, and here was the interesting thing, one of them was like, Screaming Guy Bass Up. Like, he's looking for specific audio versions of weird memes and stuff like that to share with us. That's how he's sharing with his friends. Or something like what we were talking about with TikTok, like how the audio version of something sped up now is starting to show up on Spotify as well, because it's part of the like when you're making a little TikTok video or you're making an Instagram video, you're dancing to the sped up version. The people were doing it themselves, and so he's looking for audio things like that. We're not really, or we're watching, hey, let's watch the new trailer for the new Avengers movie or whatever the hell's coming. I'm so out of touch with some of that crap. But it's mostly that kind of stuff. So we're not, I mean, when I have YouTube open, it's usually I'm watching, or I have on in the background, Royal Blood we talk about all the time. But here's the thing is, like with bands like Royal Blood and Muse, when we were talking about My Chemical Romance and all that kind of stuff, those videos are so cinematic and fantastic. And you and I are watching them from a place of, how can I make that?
Right.
How can I make that on a shoestring budget or on a lower budget? How can I make the Troubles Coming video with the dancing, whatever thing he's in that, you know what I mean? Or
and is it worth it?
I think it's always worth it to have more content.
Yeah.
I mean, let's ask the I mean, we're both professionals, but I'm going to ask the other professional in the room. And I use that term loosely.
Yeah, please.
Is it worth it? What are the...
Let me work it.
I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
It's your yet.
Do you know what's funny is I didn't realize that was just that line backwards. Like she'd actually taken that line and Missy Elliott, fucking brilliant. Anyway,
fucking Timbaland and Missy.
Oh god, we were listening to a Timberlake song recently, like from one of his earlier records, and I pointed out to my girlfriend that all of the drums you hear on that song are Timbaland's face.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? So back to the question. Why should somebody actually make a video versus put up an album video or a lyric video or or just a like a picture of somebody's sweet bum in a bikini? Why should we make the video other than the fact that we are artists and we make art and this is part of it?
So I come down on this side of things. I tell people, like when I consult people to do it, I think you should do all three.
Yes.
So I think you should have an album cover video that has the cover of the single or something identifying, so it's just a picture.
Yeah.
I think you should have a lyric video that you do on your own. Don't pay anyone for it. Figure out how to do it. There's templates. It's under $20. You can do it on your own. Just take some time. I mean, you can do one
do it in an afternoon.
Ain't no big whoop. But again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but go look at Taylor Swift's lyric videos for Folklore. Unbelievably good. It's got a little bit of motion in it. It's got a little bit of motion with the lyrics as they come up, almost like karaoke.
Yeah.
But like there's a candle flickering in the background. It costs $5 to do that. It's almost free. So like a lyric video shouldn't just be the lyrics, like, you know, the ugly black screen with just blue stuff coming up, but a little bit of artistry in it would be nice. And it's not that hard to do. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't care about your music enough to show people that.
Yeah, maybe.
Here, let's try it that way. Yeah. But I also think that for certain songs, it is worth you doing a creative video. That's what we call it, a creative video, meaning it's either shot or it is clips put together to tell a narrative story around the song. Yeah. Those don't have to be you. They can be stock footage. They can be other people's video. That's kind of the beauty of YouTube, is that you can do that. Yeah. One of the main reasons that I have always talked about doing that part of it is that YouTube is global. And a lot of people that catch on to YouTube, onto your music, might do it from the narrative sense of viewing it, and have on closed captioning to learn English. And that is, like, in hip hop, this is a huge thing. Yeah. Where people in, you know, South Sudan or Guatemala or Russia are learning English by watching rap videos with the captioning on. That's
fascinating.
Yeah. And so it's a big deal. There are other people that are doing it the opposite way by watching Spanish language videos and like brushing up on their Espanol by doing it that way. Yeah. But that is another major reason to do it. Again, this is like a slow burn, right? You're not going to make major money off of it. You're not going to gain thousands and hundreds of thousands of fans off of it. It's a slow burn where if people know that that's what you do when you release a song, it will get more exciting over time, and there'll be more subscribers over time. It will make your channel more viable, more interesting, more valuable, really. Yeah. The other thing is that by doing it this way, so say you have, you know, love song A, right? And you do
that's what
cover
I'm calling
video.
all my songs from now on.
That's right. Like you have an album cover video or single cover. You have a lyric video, and then you have a creative video. Well, now you have 3 SEO touch points of that song.
Bingo.
And underneath that, you should also have an instrumental video and offer that to other YouTubers to use in gaming walkthroughs and makeup tutorials. Yeah. There are 1,000 ways to kind of work it if you really, really, really want to put the time in. Yeah. But if you have it there, sometimes people just come and find you and they email you because that's in your about under business email. But they will email your channel and be like, hey, I do a makeup video and I really like this song. Can I use it? And you can license it directly to them for free or for, you know, a few $100 or whatever, or you can do a split where you say, well, let's share the revenue in it, or I get 20% of it. Yeah. So all of these things don't take that much time. And once you get in the flow of it, of releasing music that way as part of your arsenal, it's really important. I will also say this. The other reason why it's really important, we thought for a long time, like TikTok or Instagram Reels, when you have that link in your bio. So say someone uses your song on TikTok, your audio, your sound. We thought for a long time that was driving people to Spotify or driving people to whatever the streaming site was. And it did for a short amount of time. Like, you could do that. But anybody that's used it that way knows that you're not going to just jump off TikTok and go hit the link in the bio, go to the profile, hit the link, open up the link tree or their stand, and then hit that link to go to Spotify, and then it opens up another app, and then you're in Spotify. You're scrolling TikTok. You're not going to leave. But what we have seen is that it changed. So if you really like a sound and you found it on TikTok, if you have the option to go to YouTube or Spotify, like in one of the studies we did, it was like something like 45% of people went to the YouTube. So and this is the flow. You hear it on TikTok, you save that, or you share it with a friend, that TikTok, and you're like, oh, I dig that song. Or, you know, you're a creator and you're like, I'm going to use that audio for a TikTok that I do. So you won't go to Spotify to kind of listen to the audio more to get used to it. It's easier to go to YouTube because you could actually download the audio.
Yeah.
Now, that's illegal as hell, but you can. But so what we found is that most people will go TikTok or Instagram Reel to YouTube and see what the artist has going on there, because I can see everything. I can see all the singles you put out. I've got like information there. And then if I love them, then I go to my streamer of choice, Apple or Spotify, and add them as, a monthly listener. So the flow actually goes TikTok to YouTube to Spotify instead of the other way around.
Interesting.
Like, YouTube is the waypoint of whether or not I'm going to really listen to this artist. And that's cool. Like, but again, if you don't have both running, you're going to miss out on a bunch of people that will go to YouTube and be like, oh, they have no YouTube, but they've got Spotify rocking here.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't understand why you wouldn't utilize all of the tools to build your career possible. And that's what we were saying about when you were saying about it's a slow burn, when you were talking about it's a slow burn. When you were saying about it. What is your goal as an artist? Is your goal to get one single and say, that's it, I'm out? And if that's not going, these platforms are not going to do the work for you. Unless you're investing a shitload of money, and then you'll not make that money back. But if you're looking to build a long-term career that grows over time, even as the rules and change and this, that, and the other thing happens, as banks fall and rules change and your user agreement updates, you can still use these platforms to grow your career over time.
Yeah.
And that should be the goal. If you're an artist, I was watching an interview with John Mellencamp recently, and he said something about, I remember he name dropped a couple of famous people in it, but he made reference to the fact that if you're an artist, you can't help it. You have to do it. And he's like, I have to make stuff. I have to go make a song. I have to pull it out of the... And he was talking... Oh, I remember what the context was. He was talking with another artist about why he was such a hypochondriac when he wasn't able to make music. And he said, you either have a choice of making it up on a record or making it up on yourself. So you're going to believe you're going to start making up this narrative inside your head about this thing if you're not making up these narratives outside of yourself. So make art so you don't think that you're dying of... whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
Mellencamp disease, sucking on a chili dog.
Do not sell this man a chili dog.
Do not sell this man a chili dog.
I also think that... I think this is instructive for any independent artist to hear, because we have these conversations with people that we consult with, and one of them is, okay, so you think you're going to blow up. You're putting out a song, you're putting out a record. You think your band is awesome, and it's a great band, and this is an awesome song, and this is an awesome record, and you don't understand why you're not, world famous and huge and big. Mm-hmm. If that is the case, do you not think you will eventually have a YouTube channel? So why not start right now when no one's looking and get it done correctly and look at it correctly? Yeah, because again, I don't know how to put this in any clearer terms, but because YouTube is global, we don't even know the reach of it eventually. Yeah. And Spotify and Apple are very much app-based and subscriber-based, and YouTube
they're also regional, aren't they? There's certain songs you cannot get. That's
territorial, and it works different in territory. So does YouTube. Now, here's the other thing: is if you want to go really down the rabbit hole in YouTube, you can.
I do. Okay. Take me down.
Well, then you should set up different language channels. Mr. Beast is doing this. Why wouldn't you do half of the rest of the world speaks Spanish. Yeah. Especially in the Western world. And so why aren't all of your music videos translated into Spanish? Why don't you have a YouTube SP or a YouTube, why aren't you serving YouTube.mx
Yeah.
And like, why are you not doing that? He said, like, he started, I don't know what the numbers were, but he was like, oh, yeah, and he's got like 1 billion subscribers or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he was like, yeah, we just realized, why don't we just serve more Spanish people? Like, it's not that hard to do and get someone to translate it. Mm-hmm. It may not be right if you do it with like Descript or Jarvis or something, but you could get on Fiverr and get, you know, a Spanish speaker
somebody
to
translate
do
it for you. Yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard. And it's not a long blog post. It's a fucking song. And so, you know, we've talked about this back in the old days when music was different. Like you could not have a global hit if there wasn't a Spanish translation to it.
Yeah.
A cover. You would just have someone do the Spanish version of it. If you watch anything on Netflix,
oh, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Until the very end, you will see how many people do the translations in like 8
French
different countries.
And Spanish,
Turkish,
and
Arabic, like it's all over. And why musicians don't take advantage of that? I mean, they probably don't understand why it matters, because it kind of doesn't, right? Like you're not going to go tour, you know, you're not going to go tour Portugal. But you're not gonna if no one hears you there. Like you're never gonna.
Well, the thing is if you're like a traditional singer songwriter, acoustic, or even a piano, you know, player with some of the rolly mats and stuff like that, you can use. You can actually take your stuff, get on a plane, and go fucking anywhere and play. Within reason. Don't go anywhere when there's any travel bans.
Do not take Spirit Airlines. There's
Do not take Spirit Airlines. United breaks guitars. That guy had a massive hit off that one. Speaking of YouTube, but like, there really isn't a limit. I even remember like doing things in the early '90s, late '90s, early 2000s, where you know bands I was playing with were hey, we've got this festival we're gonna go play in Germany to 116,000 people.
Yeah.
And that was all we would do. We would go out, we'd fuck around for that festival, be there for a week, come home. And, like and it's much easier to do that when you have all of this data in place that lets you know where people are actually listening to your music.
And again, we hammer this all the time. You are not releasing music to people. You are releasing it to the algorithm. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why this is important is not that you're going to always have Spanish versions or always care about a German version or even have to play that when you go there. They want to hear the English version almost everywhere in the world. You go to Japan, they want to hear the English version. You got to know a few things. You got to know how to say hello, good night. You guys look beautiful. You got to know all that. But you don't need to redo the song. You don't need to play it in the native language to go play somewhere because they're smarter and speak 3 languages. Like we don't. But the reason why you do this is that if you upload a video that is a Spanish version, the algorithm goes, oh, they're playing in the game here. Let's serve this to our Spanish-speaking people. And you know this if you've done any of the metadata stuff behind the scenes in YouTube, where it's like, what language is this in? Is this for children? Is it age 13 or over? You probably just go fly by all of those things. But like if you have that version and you upload it, then YouTube Mexico might pick that up. And that would be something that they're like, oh, I want to serve this. Like the algorithm looks at it as like, I'm going to serve this to my listeners. But again, you're not doing it to try to like find Mexicans who listen to your music. Yeah. YouTube will do that for you. Yes. Like the algorithm will do that for you if you're playing. Yeah. But if you're not, like, why would YouTube ever serve your music to someone, who speaks a different language? They wouldn't. Yeah. And so that's why it's important is, again, to understand why it matters, why it matters that you are releasing music to the machine to their
Bert
force.
Kreischer.
Yeah. not Bert Kreischer. Oh, my God. My movie's coming out, you guys.
And Mark Hamill's playing his dad. Sorry, that's why it's important you release to the machine.
Have I told you this about Bert Kreischer? Sidebar. I love the Bert Kreischer show.
Oh, yeah.
And by that, I mean everything he does on social media, all the podcasts he goes on, the things he does with Tom Segura, the stuff with Leanne, the stuff with his kids, his Instagram stories. I love it all.
Yeah.
I have never seen a Bert Kreischer stand-up special. Not one. Not one. He's got a new one coming out, Razzle Dazzle. Mm-hmm. The movie's coming out about the story about the machine. I will probably see that just because I want to support, because he's actually doing a big actual movie.
Yeah.
I may not see the new special because I feel like I'm batting perfect now. I have never seen. I've seen The Cabin, and I have not seen any of his stand-up specials. And it's not because I don't think it's funny. It's more that like I don't want to ruin it. Like I like the Bert Kreischer show, and I kind of don't want to see him at his job.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bert.
I've got 2 ex-wives who met me essentially at work, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this expectation that you're supposed to be this thing all the time.
Hold on.
And then
hold on. Stop sign.
Yeah.
I have 2 ex-wives who have met me at work.
Yes, I'm a performing musician, and they would meet me there, and then there's this expectation that you're a big, sexy rock star, and you're followed around by thousands of people all the time.
And you are.
And of course I am. And after about 10 years of marriage, that gets exhausting.
It gets really old.
No, there's I understand the work is work. You know, even though work for me and work for you as a performer is pretty fucking glamorous. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty, I mean, I've got people carrying my shit.
Way. Yeah.
I've got a cape, for God's sakes. I can wear it wherever I like. I went out and put the garbage cans out on the back alley in my cape this morning. Yeah. They're like, good morning, Your Majesty. Hello.
It's hilarious how like people in the music industry, you know, you get together with someone that you meet at a show, you know, and you have this like relationship, and they're like, you know, it'd be really nice if we could go on a date on Saturday night. And it's like, what? Like,
but I'm working on Saturday night.
Damn well what I do.
Yeah.
Like, why did you think that would change?
That's
why you were there.
Yeah. That's the other part of it is I mean, I also understand why people develop certain addictions in this industry.
What?
Because, well, I mean, number one, you've got all the adulation and adoration that happens, and when that fades away, that can if you don't have a good grasp on your mental health, you're going to look for something to supplement that with. But the other part is, wherever we go as a performer and we go on a stage, doesn't matter if you're playing in a tiny bar gig or you're playing on a massive stage in front of 40,000, 60,000 people, you are the party director. You are the cruise director. Meet me on the Lido deck. We're going to do some shuffleboard, right? And if we're doing that, and everybody's drinking, taking shots, we're having a party, having a great time. Again, if you don't have a grasp on your mental health, you're going to mistake that for real life. And whereas we run 4 to 6 parties a week, the people that are at that show, that's their one party this month.
Yeah, that's very true. By the way, 2ShotsMusicPod is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com. Mental health is very important.
It's of paramount importance. Thank you, BetterHelp. Oh, wait,
I think I don't know. People are going forward with it. I don't know.
Okay, but there was a BetterHelp that got in trouble for sharing?
One of them did for sharing things, but I don't know how far they shared them. Everyone shares stuff.
That's the thing. You click I agree on a box at the bottom of just about fucking everything you use.
Anybody that ever had a Blockbuster account, it's over. Like it's been over for a long time.
I remember
sign up for Facebook. It's over.
The copy of The Last of the Mohicans for 2 weeks too long, and there's a guy in a Blockbuster shirt with a baseball bat with some nails driven through it outside my house, and saying it's clobbering time. Just be thankful Facebook doesn't do that.
I think that playing shows is, and I always explain it like this: is that, look, if you're an accountant and you balance your books at the end of the month, no one throws their bra on your desk. Like there's a reason why music acts are pirates. Like we're out there being pirates.
Filled with scurvy.
People want that from you. That is the reason why you're doing it, is that you live a different life in a lot of ways. It's just at some point you got to learn that the ship comes into shore sometimes. Yeah. And you have to do some business. You got to do some real things too. But it is different than other jobs, and you should live that way. Yeah. There's a reason why the accountant is dying to come do Jaeger shots at your show. Yeah. Because people don't people aren't waiting for them backstage.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I'm working with a lot of, 30 and under artists right now. Just, there's some savviness that they have that I don't have, which I appreciate. I'm always grateful to work with people who are plugged in a different way than I am.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm starting to see is less partying out of these bands.
Yeah.
There's much less of it because I think we've got all the cautionary tales, that we had from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s of people mistaking the party lifestyle of the road for real life.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have stories of friends and, good friends and bandmates and this, that, and the other thing, just taking it too far and never coming back.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff, behind the music really fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see a lot less of that. But the other part of it is a lot of the deals and a lot of the conversations and a lot of the business dealings are still happening in these venues. They're still happening over beers. They're still happening over a joint in the back alley behind the venue.
Yep.
So, whether you decide to partake in that or not, that's where some of this stuff is still happening.
Well, and like how many people do we know that have been in the industry for decades who are sober?
Yeah.
And they still got to hang out with, the lead singer that drinks too much.
Yeah.
And so like that's a skill to learn to keep your sobriety when you're like, I've reached the end of my road on that.
Yeah.
I'm so weird. I know I have a different point of view about this and I get slammed for it, but I stick to it. And that is, look, it is a different life, and I don't think that you need to do drugs or you need to drink or you need to have risky choices to be a great musician or a great band or interesting. I don't think that. I know a lot of sober people who've been sober for a long time. I know a guy that works in the industry that when we go to the bar, he orders a milk. You know him too. We love him. I'll tell you about him. I'll tell you his name later. But he orders a milk at industry bar meetups, and it's
fantastic.
It's great, and there's a lot of reasons why he does this.
He needs calcium.
Yeah, but like I'm fine with that, and like you should treat all those people equally. And I don't think that you need one to make the other happen. Yeah. However,
dissenting opinion.
Almost all of the most interesting artists have some demons they're working through. Almost all of the things that create great art, whether that is depression, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's drug use, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's sex addiction, there are some things that are worth working through in your artistic life.
Yeah.
And I have told young musicians this, and I know this is a horrible thing from Uncle Michael. I get it, okay? But I'm going to tell it to you anyway. In your 20s, make those fucking mistakes.
Yeah.
Try that shit. Make sure you can get to rehearsal. Don't fall too far down, but know where your limits are. And if you are that person that is straight edge your whole life, okay, I respect that. That's okay. But I also want to give some other people the green light into saying that this is the time to do that. Be in a band, get too drunk, make risky choices, write about it. Figure out who you are through that, because you can't do that if you're trying to work at Ernst & Young as an accountant, nor should you. But I think that there is some viability into living the pirate lifestyle as long as you don't let it take you over. Yeah. And by the way, this happens everywhere. This happens on Wall Street. It happens in mid-management, or in sales where they're having 2 drinks at lunch, or
the amount of cocaine on Wall Street.
Yeah, Adderall, cocaine, all that. Yeah. It happens everywhere, but it's a little bit more allowable in the music industry. Again, I don't think you should start it up if you don't want to. I don't think that you should continue it if you have a problem. But I do like to give people a little bit of a green light, especially in your 20s, when you can make some mistakes. You can come back from it. But like, this is when you do those things to have no regrets. This is when you do those things to go, oh, okay, well, yeah, I tried it. I didn't really care for that. Or I'm not a huge drinker. Or I am. I like a few beers every night. But don't let it become something that is like the dependency can't be both ways. Your art can't be dependent on your dependencies.
Yeah.
And your dependencies shouldn't be fed by your art.
Yes.
But I'm saying that you should be clear-eyed about it and take some of those risks. And why? Why am I saying this, Stu? Because younger people aren't making enough music that people want to fuck and party to. Fall in love and fuck to. Like,
yeah,
there still needs to be that part of the industry. And so I'm standing on this other side where I don't want every 20 something band to be like, we're straight edge, man. We get up at 6:30, we read the Stoics, we go for a jog, I drink my green juice. Okay, that's awesome. That's fucking boring. To a 30-year-old who is depressed and wants to hear a song about how you see it as an artist.
But let me ask you this question. How do you know that's not their addiction? Like that's not their version of doing drugs and staying up all night, banging on, rhino horn boner pills.
Let's talk more about that. No. It clearly is. It can be their addiction. And it's part of like make yourself superhuman, you know? And look, I'm all for making yourself the best person that you can be. But I got to say from an entertainment perspective, and I know this is, I know. Go ahead and leave comments. Go ahead and email us, 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com about how I'm wrong and I'm leading children down the wrong road or whatever. But okay, here's my point. It's boring as fuck. It can be boring. Like, what are you writing about? What are you telling me your point of view of the world is about if you get up and you read and you meditate and you drink your green juice? And I'm not saying you don't ever get to this point. Of course you do. But I'm saying that if you never take some of these risks as a young person of like, let me see what it's like to stay up for 2 days. Let me see, maybe I get a little too drunk and I say something I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I just got to tell you, as a music publisher and as a songwriter guy, like that's the story I want to hear about. Like, I actually don't want to hear about how you're making yourself, the perfect person and are completely balanced in life. That doesn't mean you can't make great music. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, if you never know some of those depths of a little danger, okay, that's really what it is. It's danger. Mm-hmm. Art, to me, needs to be a little dangerous, whether you're a painter or a musician or a writer. Like, I'm sure there are great writers that write beautiful history essays.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the Anthony Bourdain writing, right? Because it's telling me about struggles and conflict and stakes and drama. Yeah. And it's the same thing in music. Like, maybe, okay, and I'll push back a little bit on myself here. Maybe you're awesome about writing those dramatic, emotional songs, even though you haven't gone through them. Mm-hmm. And you can be that sober, perfectly put together person that doesn't ever raise their voice and never gains weight or has a dependency. You don't ever have to kick the sheets. That's awesome. But like I'm saying, what I'm seeing with some of these younger bands that are not living the pirate lifestyle a little bit is that some of their music is boring. It's boring. Mm-hmm. So write about something more interesting, even if you aren't living that interesting life. But if you can't do that, maybe live a more interesting life for a little bit. Oh my God, I know this is just horrible advice.
No, it's not. It's not horrible. I think that there's room for all of it, and I think I think there's a glamorization of certain pieces of this. But you've said something very key in this whole thing, which is know your limits.
Yes.
Know your boundaries and know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. And if it's learning to trust yourself in these situations, because these situations are going to arise. I've got a child that I have to have these conversations with. And one of the big things I say to him is, at some point in time, you may have an urge to try some shit.
Yeah.
The only thing I will ask you to do is be in a place where you feel safe to do that.
Yeah.
If you're going to try mushrooms, be there with somebody who can talk you off a fucking ledge if they need to.
Absolutely. And I don't want to tell people how to parent. I think you should parent your children better than what I'm telling you to do as a band, obviously. So I don't want to say that, but I know that I'm on the wrong side of this argument for the world we live in now. I do. I get it.
I think it's a balancing act. I think it's both of it goes together.
Yeah, but like I know that this advice might lead some people to a chemical dependency that would cripple them for a year. I get it. But you may have that anyway. And so I guess the reason why I go through this is that my whole goal in life, right, is I want to experience, create, and foster great art. And it is rare that great art comes from someone put together perfectly.
I don't think anybody's put together perfectly.
And maybe that's going to happen. Maybe we're in a sea change. Maybe this whole new crop of bands that are coming out that are better at mental health. Thank God. Thank you. The young generation that is like the bands are talking about it. Like, hey, man, how you feeling? You okay?
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't do rehearsal tonight. Like, that's awesome because that is not the world I grew up in.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, hey, totally. I feel a little down tonight. Oh, is that right? You pussy? I'll see you at 7.
Yeah.
Bring a 12-pack. I get that that's not the right way to do things today. And I certainly don't think that you should push through like the mental or the physical health things that are important to keep together. But I also don't think that we can build an ultimately safe world where no one has any problems and we're all doing the right thing because we have the right information. We're wearing our whoops and I get up every hour. I have my green juice. I did my 30 minutes. I touched grass. I got the sun in my face. I did the cold plunge. I wrote for 30 minutes in my journal. Everything's perfect.
This sounds like my morning. You know this, right?
I know. And I do it sometimes. I do it. I mean, I'm trying to become healthier. But again, if you're a musician that's of a certain age, do what we're do what the kids are doing. Like, take care of yourself, take care of your body, get some health care, drink some green juice. I'm more talking about like sort of the young artists that are finding their voice. That like you've got to have that life experience to talk about. To make it interesting for me. Yeah. I'm looking for great. I'm not looking for like, oh, you wrote a song about the sun. That's great. And it's a well-crafted song. That. Yeah. It's been done. And by the way, George Harrison did that high.
Yeah.
Because he was up all night long. So again, he came out of it and became a meditative person and quit drugs and stopped smoking. And yes, do all of that. But like the blossoming of an artist is, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, I think that the blossoming of a younger artist is like, I want to experience the world and then show that to you through my eyes, through my song, through my voice. And only artists can do that.
Yeah.
And so like what you're experiencing, it should have a little bit of input in your music life. It should be like, you should want to, when you're 20, go to that party that there are some ne'er-do-wells at. These aren't all nice people. No. And because there's stories there. There are songs there. I get it. I'm totally selfish about this. I want great songs, and so I want you to fuck up a little bit. Listen, this is the truth. This is just the honest truth. In music publishing land, when we see an artist get together with somebody, a songwriter, this is just absolutely true time, okay? We look at somebody and we'll be like, oh my God, when they break up, those are going to be great songs. like you root for the divorce that is messy from that artist because you know that Adele is going to write amazing fucking albums off of it. Yeah. You just know. Did. You know that song about the cheating is going to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, like, I know that after, my second divorce, the songs that I wrote, at least some of them I wrote while all that was going on, but the ones I performed after everything absolutely collapsed were the best performances, some of the best vocal performances and, instrumental performances I've done.
Yeah.
Because I had a little bit more skin in that game.
A little edge. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It's raw, it's uncomfortable, it hurts, and that's when I'm talking about like when recording people and I don't get a believable performance out of them. And I've sat in a studio for an entire day and I've sent people home. And they're like, well, why isn't this working? I said, because I don't believe you. I do not believe that you are heartbroken. I do not believe that you're sad. I do not believe that you did blow off of 17 prostitutes in a row and had to go home and confess to your girlfriend what you did. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I want to believe you. So in order to do that, you have to be able to either access that story from an emotional standpoint, a raw and unfiltered place, which is rare unless you've actually had the experience. I feel like when Johnny Cash was writing all of his, master classes in storytelling, he'd had enough bullshit in his life that he could access the pain and heartache of a man on death row. Yeah. Even though he'd never been on death row. Man had been to prison,
Who amongst us hasn't?
I mean,
wait a minute.
Jail or prison, those are two very different things, man. But you know what I mean?
Like county or fed?
But you know what I mean? Like you have to be able to access that emotional. Like I remember there was a song I sang for my first ex-wife on a record I did many, many moons ago. And, I was not hitting it until I put out a photo of her in front of me and sang it to her. Right.
Wow.
And, that's hard to do because it's like, okay, am I going to hold it together emotionally enough to get a great performance?
Yeah.
And, at least have all the meat potatoes together. But the other part of it is the emotional content of the music is what's going to connect you to your audience.
Yeah.
And whether that is like, let's get drunk and fuck, or I was high and I did terrible things and I regret it. Make some fucking mistakes, people. Make some mistakes. Try something.
However, I will also mention this. Don't be fucked up at work.
Oh.
So don't go to the studio high.
No.
Don't go to the studio drunk. You're there to work.
I don't mind a little adjustment.
I'm okay with a little buzz on stage. Have a few beers, a shot or whatever. Don't be loaded and forget what the fuck you did on stage. Too many of us have that story like, oh my God, that was an awesome performance when you jumped up and hit your head. And it's like, I don't remember it at all. You know, like, don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, that's when you fake it, right? That's when you actually, you're like, you want to have the party with everyone watching you, or you want to bring out that emotion. That's why you're a recording artist, is that you are an actor on the microphone or on the drums. You are playing it as if you are in front of a crowd, as if you are trying to impress someone in a cold, big A room as the producer's in your ear, like, please move the drum mic to the left.
Yeah.
Don't touch the drum mic, please. Please don't move those.
Please don't do that. You know what's funny is like how many when you said the word actor there a moment ago, I almost could feel the collective puckering of a bunch of buttholes because I know that there's a lot of artists that really want to just be genuine and completely themselves on stage. But part of maintaining a long-term career means sometimes you just can't. You have to act. You have to pretend. Because if you don't, and you're constantly, not just the ringleader, but also, in the midst of the melee of the pirate lifestyle, it's not going to be a long party for you.
Right. But I mean, okay, so I can get into that a little bit. Here's two examples. One, you're not always going to be in the breakup with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So that song that you wrote that is about this horrible breakup and how you feel, and you were able to encapsulate that in words and music that your listeners can't do, you're providing them a service to where they can access that emotion. When you're singing on stage, you may be in a great relationship now. You may be in a very balanced, perfect relationship with good communication skills because you learned.
And you drink your green juice and you go out in the sun.
Exactly. But when you wrote that song, you were in breakup mode. Yeah. And so, okay, do you want to sing it as a happy, healthy person? Or do you want to perform it as it's meant, as the material is meant to come out. Because there's someone in the crowd that's going through a breakup, right? There's someone in your audience, and one of your fans. That's why that song is important to them. So you have to act. When I say act, you get into that mindset of what that song was about, and it changes over time sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But so that's one thing, and that's the same thing in the studio. So you're in the studio on a Thursday afternoon. You got 4 more days left, and you're recording that breakup song. You're in a great mood. You've had a great day. You're in a studio. Holy shit. The band's together. We had a great day. I got a good night's sleep. My vocals are warmed up. I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Now you got to drop into, that horrible
Sadness
person
pile.
that hurt me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there is some acting involved. Conversely, you can be on tour at the end of a 3-day night after night drop.
Yeah.
And be just completely worn out, have 4 hours of sleep. This, sound check went horrible. Drummer's pissed off. Everybody's mad. But, the people that paid for that show that night, they want you to be the most exciting, happy party person. They're there for the party. So, again, you need to act that way. You need to be like, get up for the show, turn it on for an hour and a half. And so that is acting. And it's in a way, it's an authentic way of acting because you respect the process. You respect your fans. You respect the deal you did with the venue. We're bringing in a party. Yeah. It better be a damn party. They want to sell
it. Yeah, 100 grand with the beer. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to get on the mic and be like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty tired. It's been a horrible day. Anyway, here's Lift Your Wings. That's horrible. I don't want to see that.
It was called Lift Your Wings.
Yeah. Here's a song from our second album, Lift Your Wings, whatever. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So, there is part of acting to it. It's also the same with press. Like if you're doing interviews, if you get to that level where people care enough about you as the artist, as the person to talk to you, at the very least be engaging. You
mean not like Hugh Grant at the Oscars the other night?
What a dick move. What a dick move. This young girl doesn't know of a book that was written 100 years ago? This is a Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
Like play the game a little bit. Yeah. And by the way, those little things, Hugh Grant's at a different level. When you're on the come up, I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of us that are watching you.
Yeah.
If I see you even on a YouTube, by the way, another YouTube thing, you can do YouTube interviews. And you don't have to be with like some NBC affiliate or whatever. It could be a blogger. It could be someone with a podcast. Hi, we're going to do interviews eventually, by the way, and promote your music. But but when you do those, I can see you. I can see you on the video. I can see whether or not you're excited. I can see your
eyes rolling up into your hairline.
Yeah, to play the game a little bit, and I will know whether or not you are serious about your career. Again, this is about being a career and making a living in music. That doesn't mean being rich. That doesn't mean a lot of things you might think. It means making a living in music. All these little things matter to where other people are watching and going, okay, that person can play ball. Like I can do a business deal with them and know they won't let me down. If it's a booker, I can book them. They will do some press for me. When they show up on stage, they're going to sing the sad song Sad, and they're going to lift the crowd up. I can't wait to hear Lift My Wings from that band. And so all those things kind of matter. But like that's, I guess I want to be clear about this. Take your risks, but at work, do your work. Do your work,
And don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. For Christ's sake, don't be a dick.
That's it. It's pretty simple. Be cool. Make great art. Do all the stuff we're telling you and don't be a dick.
Do all the stuff we're telling you. Like just in this podcast alone, everybody's like, wait a minute. So I got to start a YouTube channel and translate it to Arabic and Spanish. And then I got to do a bunch of podcasts. But Michael wants me to get high, but Stu thinks I should work out a little bit. And then I also should break up with people.
I think you should do both. I think you should get a little high and I think you should go to the gym. I think it's balance in all things.
Balance in all things. But how will you know?
You have to find your own balance.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's no Gymaholics Anonymous.
Sure there is. They're in the ER with a strained hammy.
Oh, don't even mention it. That just hurt my hamstring. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Sorry, man.
All right. Well, let's get to the favorite sync of the week. I think we've all learned a great lesson here today.
Which is the rundown goes out the window.
Rundown goes out the window. Sorry, Kelsey.
Sorry, Kelsey.
I'll get to my favorite sync because I want to hear you talk about yours. My favorite sync of the week is Arthur's theme. Christopher Cross.
When you get lost in the moon in New York City.
Now, this is what's interesting. So this, for the younger people that are listening, you may not even know, but there was a movie called Arthur. And there were many movies, actually. It was a series. But, like, it was a big movie in the late 70s, early 80s. And Christopher Cross was, like, the Kenny Loggins of the time. He wrote, like, the whole soundtrack.
Who is Kenny Loggins?
That's a different story. But Kenny Loggins he owned soundtracks in the 80s. Footloose,
yes.
Caddyshack, Top Gun. And he would do, like, all of his number one hits at one point were basically soundtrack songs.
Yeah, exactly.
But so Christopher Cross, you may know him from Sailing if you love the yacht rock. But he did this song called Arthur's Theme. So it's written for the
best
movie.
that you can do.
When you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy, but it's true. But it's this whole song about Arthur and this young kind of rich billionaire who is a drunk, but he's a lovable drunk because it's the late 70s.
Affable drunk, yep.
Mm-hmm. Or early 80s. But it's a song written specifically for that movie. You would think this song would never be used again. You know, it's like a song that was called, you know, we're gonna Top Gun, dun dun, we're gonna Top Gun. You couldn't really use that for another movie. You couldn't use that on Rocky. Top Gun.
Yeah.
But so this is a song about Arthur's theme. But the thing is that for a certain age group and people that know of the movie, it sets the time period in a way.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what that time period is. Taxi cabs, New York, fall, that kind of thing. So anyway, it was used in Poker Face on Peacock.
God, that show's really good.
Which is the new Columbo with Natasha Lyonne. It's a really good show.
Ryan Johnson. Yes.
Yeah,
is the guy.
And again, the music supervision on this was Thomas Golubik from Super Music Vision. So
fantastic.
He nails it again. But yeah, so it was used on Poker Face, and it was basically to set a time. But I was like, oh my God, they're using Arthur's theme in this. And that was, I thought it was strange. It's a bold move to use a song written for another movie, and it worked. And that's why I'm picking it, because it worked. And anytime Christopher Cross comes across my desk, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, go see Christopher Cross if you see him. He's playing casinos all over. But it is totally worth it if you can see him at like a summer amphitheater, because it's pretty life-changing.
It is exactly what you want it to be. Yeah. It's like, you know, when he pulls out Sailing, you're there. I'm on. The canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see.
All right, listen. I'm gonna sidebar here. I was a strip club DJ for a while, and I was hot shit. Okay, I was hot shit. I made lots of money.
Please tell me that was your stage name was Hot Shit. DJ Hot Shit.
DJ Hot Shit. And now Minx on stage 1. Jaegers are $3. Make sure you're tipping 5 cents or 20s. If you're not tipping money, you're either no, you won't even get into that. But anyway, okay, so my best set, and I mean, I played tons of music. I was like kind of in the 90s when hip hop was happening, and strip clubs weren't playing hip hop because they didn't want gangsters. But anyway,
oh my God,
I was hot shit. I did very well at it. Anyone that goes to a strip club with me now, it's funny. I will sit there with, like, I'll go to strip clubs with some girls and some gals, and they'll look at me for what the next song is going to be, and I pick it every single time.
So
really fucking
you
good
laid
at
the
it.
groundwork here.
Yeah. But anyway, so there was a Shriners convention in downtown.
Oh, hell yes.
The guys with the hats and the clown cars, right?
Yeah.
They come into our strip club. And none of the young DJs knew what to play for these guys, right? And there was a set, and I remember the girl's name. Her name was Misha. That's her stage name. I know her real name, but I'm not going to tell you because I'm writing a book about it.
Because we've been married for 10 years.
Yeah, so what the song was, I can't remember the complete set, but I played Sailing and did a light show with Blue going around the room as if you were underwater. She made $1,000. I made $600 in that one song.
Wow.
4 minutes, $1,000, $600 to me. It was a floor show, so she was completely naked. So she should have made more than me. But guys came up to me afterwards, like almost in tears. Like that was artistic and sexy and exactly what I needed. And I was like, we are doing the Lord's work here.
Yeah.
You know, then the next night we got busted by vice cops. But that doesn't matter. I'm just saying Christopher Cross works in so many ways.
Speaking of how you make your mistakes. Speaking of making mistakes, I'm going to be the bummer in the room. I have not watched anything in the last week. I've been a wash in a sea of workings. So I have not watched anything this week and couldn't tell you one sync that I saw this week because I really haven't watched anything. And if I did, it was like 3 minutes and I was asleep.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, that's really good. Okay. Thanks for your contribution.
Yeah, I did nothing here.
That's what she said. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work there.
It doesn't work. Oh, man. Oh,
Let me finish.
That is what she said.
That is what she said. There it is. Okay, the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming today. Make sure to go to 2ShotsMusicPod.com. You can get us wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to rate, subscribe, like. Also, comment. Leave dirty comments.
Please do.
More cuss words, the better on Apple Music Podcasts.
Absolutely, for sure.
They love that. Use cunt as much as you can.
Yeah, but asterisk out the wrong letter. Asterisk out the N. So, you know, because normally how you normally asterisk out the vowel.
Yeah.
Asterisk out the C or the N. So some people goes, is it aunt or is it Kurt? What is that?
Football fans? What is this?
Where are we at on the socials there, Dr. St. James?
We are at 2 Shots Music Pod pretty much everywhere. You can go to 2 Shots Music Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. 2 Shots Music Pod. If you search that, you will find
Tinder,
us everywhere.
OnlyFans,
Grindr. We're on
Bumble.
Kia. Yeah, we're on Judate.
Thunder.
Absolutely.
Farmers Only.
Yes, you can find us on Adult Friend Finder. All we need is a credit card. You got to be over 21.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love you. Hope you have a good day.
I love you too. I hope you have a good day too.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.